Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is Friday, April 7th, Friday before Easter Sunday. My name is Alan. I want to welcome you to my Spiritual Growth Through Recovery podcast. The purpose of these videos is to grow my spirituality by following the AA program of recovery, and I do that by being honest, vulnerable, and accountable, which is why I make the videos. I'm no expert in AA, spirituality, or recovery, just sharing my experience as I'm on this journey of peace and serenity and service, and that's why I'm here. The recipe we do follow here is we read the daily reading out of the Daily Reflections book. There's a link in the description if you want to follow along. I'll just share my take on anything that jumped out or was relevant to me. And then I'll share anything else I'm going through, struggles, gratitude, successes, those kind of things. All right. So let's get busy. So today we're going to discuss the wide arc of gratitude and the topic of willingness. All right. All right. So April 7th, a wide arc of gratitude. And speaking for Bob D and myself, I gratefully declare that had it not been for our wives, Anne and Lois, neither of us could have lived to see AA's beginning. The AA Way of Life, page 67. Am I capable of such generous tribute in gratitude to my wife, parents, and friends, without whose support I might never have survived to reach AA stars? I'll work on this and try to see the plan my higher power has shown me, which links our lives together. A pretty simple topic today, and it's I think as alcoholics and drug addicts, when we get sober, it's all about us when we're using, and it's all about us when we're in sobriety because we feel like crap. And so it's important to kind of be grateful for the people that have been there to support us and encourage us along the way. And I really want to be have a lot of thanks to my fiance Amanda, who's been unbelievably supportive, and I'm extremely grateful for her and her mom, my soon-to-be mother-in-law, who's been like a mom to me. She's just always encouraging, always supportive, just loving, which I have not experienced since my mom passed away in '01. So my kids have been great. My Aunt Mona's been amazing. And I have great friends like Adam and Jeremy, and just appreciate everything that everyone's done for me. I almost don't feel worth it. And I think it's part of my, part of who I am, as I've grown along here. So, um, and I think we can show gratitude by not only voicing it to the people that have been there for us, but also by my actions, by what I do and how I actually follow through on things and change my life and be less selfish and more giving. A lot of gratitude today, a lot of appreciation. My job's been really supportive as I've gone through this as well. So, yeah, as Easter Sunday comes, and if you're a Christian and you believe in the whole resurrection and the God, Jesus died on the cross for our sins, another reason to be grateful that we're something loves us enough to you know uh, you know do things with for us. So anyway, that's the topic of for the reading, and I do want to talk about willingness because I know on Monday there'll be a little more specific reading on willingness, but I really want to get into step 7 in humility next week, so I'm going to talk about willingness today. Now, back when I was in Yosemite, I actually did a self-evaluation and evaluated my willingness in general. And there's a link in the description of that blog post that I posted there. So I just want to go over a couple things that's when I evaluate willingness, which was my word of the year 2021. What does that mean? So if we look at the big book here on page 76, it says we have emphasized willingness as being indispensable. All right. So indispensable means absolutely necessary. And we'll get into the description of willingness here in a minute. One thing that I notice a lot about myself, which is not willingness, it's a thought that I don't want to. I don't want to do certain things. That's not being willing. Because I don't want to do certain things, like make certain sacrifices, take risks. I'll likely never change beliefs and behaviors unless I obtain the willingness to do that. All right. I don't want to, even though I believe that it'll be worth it to make those changes. I'll like who I will be on the other side, and I'll know a new level of freedom. There's a part of me that just doesn't want to. I hang on to things, right? So what is willingness? Why is it important? So willingness in literature, in my opinion, the AA literature is the best that's ever been written. I really believe that. The program and literature, its willingness is mentioned 33 times in the big book and in the 12 by 12 book. So obviously it must mean something, right? So in fact, there's 2 steps. Step 6, when we're entirely ready, right? And then step 8, where we became willing to make amends. So there's some more references in the AA literature. So what is willingness? Let's look at a few definitions. The quality or state of being prepared to do something, readiness, entirely ready. Okay, I'm going to. Choosing, right? The choice. I'm going to choose to do something even though I may not want to, right? And then as described in the 12 by 12 book, verse 35, once we place the key of willingness in the lock and have the door ever so slightly open, we find we can always open it some more. All we need is the key of willingness. As long as we're willing, there's hope there, right? So why is willingness important? For me, willingness is important because if I don't want to do something, I will never fail to follow through on it. I need to do it, otherwise nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to materialize if I'm not willing. It's like the first step. I have to be willing or I'm not going to do it. So how does one become willing? I guess in my opinion, the desire for the specific outcome is greater than the status quo. So I want this more than what I have now. And then that motivation, it's like we're willing to change when the pain of change is less than the pain of where we're at. And so just that, okay, I've had enough. I'm willing now, right? And unfortunately for people like me, you have to beat down to a certain level before that willingness comes out. I can pray for willingness. It talks about in step 6 and 7, if we're not quite willing yet, we can pray for the willingness. And I think that's one thing I've been doing a lot lately is pray for the willingness to take certain steps. In the book on page 76, it says, if we still cling to something, we will not let go. We ask God to help us be willing. So I guess my main takeaways are, I'll never make the necessary change in my life unless I become willing. Willingness is indispensable, absolutely necessary. So as long as I keep trying, keep picking up the key of willingness, there's always hope. I pray I find the willingness to make the certain changes in my life that I say I want. So anyway, I hope you took something out of today. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. I want to encourage you to look for moments where you either aren't willing to do certain things, where you're resisting. I think that first thing, if you feel yourself resisting something in life, maybe that's a moment where you're not willing to do those things. So, and if you do identify it, then maybe work through that and become willing by either doing it even though you don't want to, or pray for the willingness. So anyway, hope you had a great week. Have a wonderful weekend, and we'll be talking to you on Monday. Peace out.